Welcome back, wannabes and creators, to another episode of The Business of Art, the podcast that demystifies business for artists. And today, well, while you're listening to this, I'll be at Comic-Con, and I didn't want to have either of our awesome upcoming guests, Ben Templesmith or Vito Del Sante, get shafted by everybody thinking about Comic-Con this week. So I'm going to give you a special treat. I'm going to give you an inside look at my Facebook group, Writers and Creators Making Money Selling Books. Now, I know some of you are already in the group, and so this will be a rehash, but most of you still aren't. So I'm asking you, if you like this episode, to please go to writingandsellingcommunity.com and sign up now. It's free. It's all about authors and creators making money selling books. I do live videos. I do daily theme posts. It's great. And you know what else is great? My new book, Sell Your Soul: How to Build Your Creative Career. And right now, you can get the first chapter completely free by heading on over to GoSellYourSoul.com. It's real easy and it's real free. All you need to do is enter your email address. With that being said, let's get on with the show. Take it away, me. Let's talk about the difference between complicated and hard. Hello, wannabes and creators. It's Russell Nolte, publisher of Wannabe Press and host of the Business of Art podcast. And today, I want to talk to you about something I've been thinking about a lot recently. And that is this idea of complicated versus hard. And I've often said that what I do isn't complicated, even though it is very hard. And today I want to break that down for a minute and talk about the difference between complicated and hard. So what does it mean when something is hard? Well, it means it's difficult to do. So, for instance, breaking rocks is hard, back-breaking labor. It is getting up early in the morning, going to bed late at night. It is incredibly hard to do that work, but it is not complicated. It is generally a pickaxe or a sledgehammer over and over and over and over and over again. Conversely, trigonometry is generally pretty complicated. It doesn't mean that it's hard. For some people, they can do that very, very easily. But it does mean it's complicated. It means there's many, many, many steps to take before you reach the end. So the difference between complicated, which is it takes many steps, and hard, meaning it is physically intensive or mentally intensive to do, are two very different things. And I know that may sound a little simplistic, but it's really important for me to make that distinction, because when people talk about what I do or how to do what I do, and it happens a lot. I mean, this is not to brag or to boast, but I get a lot of people and more over time saying, I can't believe that you do what I do, or I can't believe you do what you do, or how do you do what you do, or I could never do what you do. Usually they're saying it, hopefully, as praise, a little bit of praise, or some bewilderment. But they seem flabbergasted. And I always tell them, what I do is not complicated. It's actually pretty easy. I've made it so simple. I've taken out all of the as many fail points as I can, and I've made it as simple as humanly possible. But what I do is very hard, because it means getting up and repeating the process over and over and over again. So at the end of the day, my process is pretty simple. I make a book. I bring it to a bunch of people. Actually, that's not true. I talk to a lot of people about a book, find out kind of what they want, and then I go make a book. And then I show it to the people that I just told I was going to make a book about them, and they buy it. It's really simple. It comes down to customer or client and product. That's as simple as it gets. I am just now, when you're talking about the marketing aspect or the sales aspect or any of those other aspects, yes, it gets a little more complicated when you're talking about Facebook ads or you're talking about email marketing or you're talking about how to scale a company from 1 book to 50 books. That stuff becomes pretty effing complicated. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to going to where your market is, showing them what you have, and then offering them a chance to buy it. Now, if you're really, really smart, you have asked them what they want beforehand. So, for instance, I'm novelizing the Katrina Hates Dead graphic novel, and I'm adding 2 sequels. Now, why would I do that? Well, I talked to a lot of people who said the book was interesting, but they didn't read graphic novels. So I decided to novelize the book and add a lot of stuff that the people that read the graphic novel just doesn't have space to include, so that those people who read novels will read it. Then, a lot of people really, 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 really like the backstory, all of the stuff I talk about what happened before Katrina started, and I never get to any of that in Katrina Hates Dead shit. So I decided to make a sequel that contained all of the gooey back matter stuff that I couldn't include in the actual book. And because everything that I've written, or almost everything that I've written, happens in the same universe, I wanted to connect all of the other stories together so you could get a sort of shared universe from Ichabod to Katrina to my new book, Pixie Dust, to other books like My Father Didn't Kill Himself and Spaceship Broken Needs Repairs. But that all comes from talking to the audience, making them a product, and then showing them that product. And it comes down to customer and product. Now, you then have to go to where those ideal customers are to find more of them. So for me, it's a lot of shows. For me, it's a lot of Kickstarters. And for me, it's some other avenues. But mostly, it's been conventions and Kickstarters. Now we're moving into that, getting a little more complicated and trying to find more and more people at scale. And that's when things do get a little more complicated. But at the end of the day, it comes down to simply making a product and finding a client for it, and then going back and repeating that cycle, having the clients, asking them what they want, making a product. This is not hard. Sorry, this is not complicated. It is hard. It is very, very, very hard to do. It's very hard to wake up every morning and write 5,000 words a day. It's very hard to go to convention after convention after convention. But at that convention, it is just asking people if they want to see a book, showing them a book, and asking them if they want to buy over and over and over again. My pitch has not changed very much in a year. Yes, some of the things that I say during that pitch have changed, but the pitch itself is the same. I can recite it in my sleep. Do you want to see a cool thing? Step 1. Sure. Do you like girls that kick ass or psychological mindfucks? Girls that kick ass. Cool. This is Katrina Hates Dead shit. It's about a girl who gets sick of living during the apocalypse and sets out to hell to kill the devil and end it once and for all. It is that pitch over and over and over and over and over, hundreds of times a day. That is not complicated. That is hard. So when people come to me and say, I could never do what you do, I say, well, that's not true, because it's not complicated to do what I do. There are all sorts of things that you can look at to write a book better. The book writing process is really not complicated either, but it is hard. It is breaking a story into chapters, breaking those chapters into scenes, and then writing those scenes over and over again. And then revising those scenes over and over and over again, connecting those threads until you have a book, and then doing it over and over and over and over and over again. At the beginning, it feels complicated, but writing a book, a lot of the time, is just paint by numbers. Once you know what you're talking about, you know the beginning, you know the end, you know the chapter breaks, you know where each scene is going, and you just follow the pattern down, 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 again and again and again, book after book after book. That is not complicated. It is really fucking hard, but it is not complicated. So what's the point of all of this? The point is that I see a lot of courses and I see a lot of things and I see a lot of people confused at the end of the day. And it comes from people saying that this is complicated, that there's all of these steps, that there's all of these things you have to do. And you know why they're doing that? Most of the time, it's because they want to sell you a course. It's because they want to sell you a product, because they want to sell you coaching. That's not everybody, but that's a lot of people. And what I'm saying is people are making this more complicated than it is or than it has to be. Can it get complicated? Yes. You can do 50 Facebook ads and you can run ads to different things. You can start going to 15 different conferences at a time. You can go find publishers and have multiple contracts and pay people to do all of these pieces and have 20 or 30 people in your employ. It can get incredibly complicated if you want it to. But at the end of the day, it is not complicated. This is just hard. It is not easy, but it is also not complicated. All it comes down to is making a product, finding an audience for that product. Ideally, it's then, or even before then, talking to people about what they want, and then making a product for them, and then finding more customers who want the thing that your original customers want. That's really, really not complicated. I have multiple examples. For instance, the Monster book, the Monster Anthology. We had Ichabod Katrina, and then we asked people what they wanted from us. They wanted a monster book. They wanted certain artists present. So we went out and made a book about monsters, all sorts of monsters from cute to scary and everything in between. And then we found a bunch of artists and a bunch of writers who people wanted. And then we showed it to the people that we talked to, and they all flipped out for it as if I read their mind. But really, I was just asking them what they wanted and then delivering that to them. With the Sell Your Soul book that I have coming out soon, I talked to hundreds, maybe thousands of artists, writers who are struggling in their business, people that I talked to about this show, and I asked them what their pain points are. And they all said they don't have any clue about how to actually make this a business. So I sat down and wrote a book that downloaded everything I know about making a business, everything I've learned in the past 10 years, and all of the steps, all of the blueprints that you need in order to make this and make this a business. And then I'm hoping when September comes around that I'm going to hand it to all of the people who've ever told me that they had problems in their business. And they go, oh my God, this is exactly what I need. This is the best thing ever. And then they'll buy it and they'll tell their friends, and those friends will buy it. And then I'll be able to run ads and do things to find more people that like that thing or need that product. Again, this is not complicated. It is just hard. People make it complicated. People say, oh, you need to have a 50,000 word book and it has to have 5 turns. Then you have to run all of these Facebook ads. You have to go to all these conventions. Stop. Yes, those things sound really complicated. But at the end of the day, what they're saying is you need to make a product that people want, and then you need to find people that want that product. And then you can ask those people who bought your product what they want, and you can deliver that again and again and again. And every time you can find more and more people, and you start at a higher baseline. So if you start with 0 people who want your book the first time, and the next time you start with 100 people and then 200 people, you're starting with more money in your coffers every single time you make a product. And that's all we're doing. We're making products here. So if you want to do this, I'm going to be really, really honest with you. It is not complicated. It is really hard. It's hard to say goodbye to your wife and dogs every weekend and go to work and barely see them. It is hard to sit and come up with a new idea or keep motivated for the idea that you're writing. It's hard to send out a survey asking people what they want and then not delivering on that because you just couldn't get the motivation to do it. It's hard to sit there and try and get motivation for the thing that you know people want. That all is hard, but it is not complicated. So I'm urging you today to stop thinking about this as a complicated maneuver. It boils down to two things. First, customer. Second, product. Now, you can put product first and customer second if you want, but those customers have to be 1 or 2. It's really 1A and 1B. But if you can make a product that people want, those people will buy it. And if you make a product that's good enough, they will tell other people about it. And then your only job after that is trying to find the jet fuel to make sure as many people find that in as short a time as possible. Does that make sense? I'm trying to be really, really clear. All of the things that you have read about this are not wrong, but they are overcomplicating a simple process. It is about finding people who want what you're selling, making a product for them, rinsing and repeating, and then bringing the marketing and sales and everything else to bear so that you can find more people like that and grow everything. So I have good news for you if you want to do what I do. You can. It's not complicated. It's just hard. And if you're willing to put the hard work in, there is no choice. There's no option but for you to succeed. How soon you will succeed, that's where it theoretically could get complicated. Whether you want to do Facebook ads and learn them or go to shows or do all the other things, those things can get complicated. But finding people who want something, delivering them a product, and then rinsing and repeating that over and over again, that's not complicated. It's just hard. Hope you enjoyed that. Talk to you soon. So that was me talking about the difference between complicated and hard, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, head on over to writingandsellingcommunity.com and join our group. It's totally free. It's all about helping you make more money selling your books. And you know what else can help you sell more books for free? The first chapter of my new book, Sell Your Soul, How to Build Your Creative Career. Head on over to GoSellYourSoul.com and download the first chapter of my new book. Absolutely free. It's all about making great content. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and review this podcast if you like it. And otherwise, that's it for me, guys. I'll see you next time.